And yeah, that's fine. Just so I can save my voice a bit. All right, so 40 seconds, copy. Tino, what's up, my man? Good luck today. Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina for day 3 and the round of 32 here at the 3rd annual TST. The group stage is over. 32 out of the 48 teams are alive and ready to thrive with one thing on their mind, and that's plenty of Benjamin Franklins after so much soccer grind. $1 million is up for grabs, and that's a fair amount of cheddar. And we've got some hungry teams that are full of individuals that are not lactose intolerant looking to fatten up their wallets. Hello again, everybody. My name is Christian Filliman, better known as Philly, and I am back with you for my 16th game in this incredible tournament, but this time, for the first time, on Field 5. Today's matchup is game number 86 at the soccer tournament, and it features Villarreal out of Group G and Bumpy Pitch out of Group H. Villarreal finished their group stages on top with a 2-1 record, and Bumpy Pitch, despite finishing in third, snuck out of the group stages. They did have a 2-1 record, but the highest scoring team in their cluster, they did score 11 goals. Among the top 8 that finished out of the teams that finished in third. Now, before we go in to our teams further, I guess you could say, some quick rules for you. This is the TST 7v7, 2 20-minute halves of a running clock. The only time it will stop is by the official. And if there's a player injury, we have no offside, no slide tackling, no throw-ins, no ties. Every game ends in what we call target scoring time, which we will explain further on in the second half. Think a golden goal in extra time, though. And just because a team might be down heading into that phase of the game, it doesn't mean that they are toast. We've seen plenty of comebacks in target score time here, and the TST, it's dynamite. Your officials for today, Kyle Atkins and Alexis De Silva. We're moments away from the start of today's game. Two teams with similar records. A key difference, though, is the fact that Villarreal has not scored as many goals throughout their group stages as Bumpy Pitch has. Bumpy Pitch has managed to find the back of the net on 11 occasions, and they have one of the highest scores in the TST tournament. So keep your eyes peeled for number 9, Christian Martinez Borja. Not only is he among one of the top goal scorers in this tournament, he's also one of the leaders when it comes to his attempts. The player to keep your eye on for Villarreal, well, actually, there's a couple of them because there's some legendary players that have competed not only for this club on the global scale, but here in this tournament. Keep your eyes peeled for number 10, Xisco Nadal, who's about to put the ball in play. During his time at Villarreal, he had the distinction of becoming the youngest player in La Liga history to score a goal. Did so at the tender young age of 16. I barely knew how to tie my shoes at that age. This gentleman right here scoring bangers against incredible teams. Bumpy Pitch is led by Jimmy Norberg and Clay Roberts, two coaches that have spent a number of years coaching professionally in the arena rankings, as well as college for that matter. I mention the arena rankings because a lot of teams in the TST have talent from the major arena soccer league. Bumpy Pitch being one of those teams consistently, as there's a shot by Martin Lara, saved by the keeper. And speaking of keepers, the keeper that you're looking at right now, Sergio Añejo, that's what I was thinking about drinking a Seno. He's the keeper to watch out for on Villarreal. For Bumpy Pitch, it is Brandon Gomez. Now, Bumpy Pitch usually cycles through a couple of keepers as Martin Lara makes the steal. The cross in towards the box. Looks like it came off, but Kyle Atkins is saying it was off of Villarreal. And so Bumpy Pitch is going to have an opportunity here for a set piece. Now Kyle Atkins, can't say I envied him very much yesterday as he had to police a very hot-tempered game between Atletico Madrid and a team called Trident FC. Atletico fell and was upset, but we saw a lot of cards and a lot of physicality. And let's just put it this way, the authorities kind of had to come in and separate the two squads. And poor Kyle had to police all of that himself. But between these two teams that have been incredible competitors, but more importantly, great sportsmen, they haven't seen any issues right there. Charlie Gonzalez, who had the game winner for Bumpy Pitch, nearly gives that up. As you see number 27, the back of his kit reads Acosta, but that actually is Colin O'Keefe, who plays in the Major Arena Soccer League for a team called the St. Louis Ambush. Christian Vasquez, who is on the team for Villarreal, also played with the Dallas Sidekicks. His brother Esteban as well, who's kind enough to message me and let me know that Acosta is not Acosta. It actually is Colin. Mitchell Cardenas wearing the number 17 for Bumpy Pitch. Goes over to his right side. Now, what Bumpy Pitch has, and this is my opinion, of course, one of the sharpest looking kits throughout this entire tournament. This is my 16th call, and I've seen these Bumpy Pitch kits a couple of times. They're absolutely stylish, created by Ben Hooper. So what Bumpy Pitch is a lifestyle brand that likes to mesh art, culture, and music, and obviously this beautiful game together. So that's the brand. Charlie Gonzalez with his attempt. That ricochets off of Villarreal's number 4. Number 4, Tomas Pina. Now, number 44 on Villarreal is their leading scorer. Año has 2 goals to his name, and that might not sound like a lot, but over 3 games, Villarreal's only found the back of the net on 5 occasions. But they have managed to claw their way out of the group stages. Bumpy Pitch won a really tightly contested game against La Mexicana Express yesterday by a score of 5-4. Villarreal was upset by Brown Ballers. In fact, they got skunked. They got defeated 2-0 in Brown Ballers with the upset. But that was a very entertaining game as well. We've seen so many entertaining games. That pass in to the right. Christian Gutierrez of the MASL San Diego Sockers maintained possession for a split second. There's an attempt by Borja, just missing to that upper right. We told you about him earlier, folks. Borja, one of the top scorers in the TST tournament. Making an argument for why he could contend for that golden boot. High press by Bumpy Pitch as Andy Reyes was trying to stifle. And that's going to come back over to the Bumpy boys. Villarreal just going through their roster. A mix of players of the likes of your Chisco Nadals. I have to mention Matteo Musacchio, the Argentinian international, who played 189 games with Villarreal between 2010 and 2017. Also spent some time in Serie A with AC Milan. He's wearing the number 5. Center back in the box. There you see him pushing on Bumpy Pitch's Barahana. We already told you a little bit about Nadal. We get to see number 22. That's Giuseppe Rossi, the terror of Teaneck. Played with the Italian national team, 30 caps there. 136, though, with Villarreal, where he scored 54 goals. So I know the term legend gets thrown around very loosely, but when you play that many games and score that many goals, I think that somewhat certifies you as a legend. Many Americans who follow Giuseppe Rossi will never forget that goal that he scored against Sunderland during his short stint in England playing for Manchester United. As Año, the leading scorer, we just saw him momentarily for Villarreal. Martin Lara, he competes for a team called the Chihuahua Savage in the Major Arena Soccer League. That's a team that has been very dominant, not only in the indoor game, But here within this TST tournament, La Bombonera, you might remember them. They're coming out of the group stages undefeated, and they're defending their title that they won from last year. Pumas de Alabama, also a team coming out of the group stages undefeated. They consist of players from Chihuahua, the Chihuahua Savage, and Boca Dallas. I know the big name there is Marco Fabian, but there's a lot of talent there between the likes of Jorge Rios, Roberto Escalante, and several others. Cardenas with a shot. That ding-dongs off the back of Musacchio, and that's going to be a corner kick. Jose Gonzalez, excuse me, the brother of Charlie Gonzalez, brother to brother there on that entry pass towards the midfield. Threading it through, spacing for Bumpy pitch. Back over to Gonzalez. Just to differentiate the two, I'll call number 10 Charlie. Charlie into the box, slipping on the pitch, and that's something that we have to take into consideration. It rained like crazy yesterday. In fact, the kind of rain that Noah might have seen when he built his ark. Not sure what it has as far as the conditions today, but from what we saw when this tournament started versus where it is right now, the grass has seen some better days. Villarreal looking to put it back into play. Again, there are no throw-ins as that one gets booted up and about by Mustafa, a.k.a. Momo Guy. Momo competed at Marymount College. Also played semi-pro in Indiana and currently employed by the Major Arena Soccer League's Empire Strikers. Featured for the United States Arena Soccer team in a friendly against Mexico 2 consecutive years in a row. So Robin Walsh opted to take a free kick there. He played with Ireland's U17. Is where's Anderlecht. Martin Lara on the run. He's got Alan Perez to the left of him. Can he thread it through? Perez was wide open on that far post, taken away by Villarreal. Over to number 19, Moron. He's looking to attack. His attempt, and he scores! Bottom left corner where the dust mites dwell. Villarreal getting on the scoreboard first. Man on the run, as the song goes. I thought he was going to pull back and wait for some of his teammates to crash into the box because it was really him versus Sia Green. But opting to go from that right side, and he beats Brandon Gomez. Villarreal 1-0 on Bumpy pitch. Marone also one of the many that have competed with the senior side. See the back of Alan Perez's kit wearing number 20. Alan Perez had one heck of a golazo the other day against La Mexicana Express. Bumpy Pitch is a team that has scored 11 goals throughout the course of this tournament. Their goals against average is around 5.72 as Alan Perez looking to beat Asenjo on that bottom left side. They defeated Saturday's Football in their opening round match 3-1. They fell to Sneaky Fox by a score of 5-3 and defeating, as we mentioned, La Mexicana Express 5-4 in what was a very tightly contested matchup. Villarreal, while not scoring many goals, hasn't conceded many goals as well, or either for that. Colin O'Keefe, out comes Brandon Gomez. So Colin O'Keefe resetting things for Villarreal. Going out. And sandwiched in between a couple of Bumpy Pitch players. O'Keefe's going to get called for the foul as he tugs down Alan Perez. So Granell, wearing number 11, would be the second leading scorer that Villarreal has. As Mitchell Cardenas advances the ball across midfield, going to his teammate in San Diego, Cesar Cerda. Bumpy Pitch now looking to slow the tempo. Had somewhat of a track meet going on here. Cardenas over to Cerda. Cerda into number 2, Edgar Castillo Carrillo. Played with Santos, America San Luis, Xolos, a couple other teams in Liga MX. Stint with Atlanta United. not to mention internationally with El Tri, as well as some time with the United States men's national team. Dual citizenship allows you these kinds of things, especially when you're coming up through your youth career before you come up on the other way. In, shot saved. Cerda fires it in. Sergio not to be denied. Villarreal's keeper, Asenjo, played with Real Valladolid's B squad, also with Atletico Madrid. And he was part of Spain's U17 and U19 squads. So we're over the halfway point here within the first half. If you're just joining us right now, the score is 1-0. Villarreal struck moments ago. Cerda being attacked by O'Keefe. And O'Keefe is whistled for another infraction, expressing his displeasement towards Kyle Atkins. O'Keefe has been really aggressive in these stages, quite the competitor. Played collegiately at Buffalo State College. Now a free kick opportunity. It'll either be Christian Gutierrez, Golden Gutierrez as they call him, or Bumpy Pitch's leading scorer, Borja. Borja's fired around 22 shots in the first 3 games here at the TST. So it will be Gutierrez. Gutierrez with a shot. And that takes down Oscar Romero. Oscar, along with his brother Yahir, play for a team called the Dallas Sidekicks. And you felt that from all the way here. If there's anything that's going to leave a bruise, that could be it. Bumpy pitch. Fancy footwork by Lara. Martin Lara somehow finding his way out of danger. Whistle called. Villarreal's bench not too thrilled about that as Adria Granel Artal whistled for the foul. Played with Valencia's C squad. Couple games with Real Zaragoza. Played all throughout Spain, in fact, in the second tier. His professional career nearly has him playing in 400 games and scoring nearly 50 goals. So here's a dangerous opportunity from just outside of the box. Can Bumpy Pitch find their equalizer? Will it be Charlie Gonzalez? Will we call him Charlie Golasso here? Or will it be Borja? And it's Charlie, right off of either Romero or O'Keefe. And that's going to come out past the touchline. The Bumpy boys put it back into play. Pass into Munir Alami out of Morocco. Munir Alami played in the top flight professionally in Morocco before coming out to the United States. Currently enjoying his time in Southern California with a team called the Empire Strikers. Now, Jimmy Nordberg was the coach of that team for a number of years, as well as the general manager. He was the Major Arena Soccer League's Coach of the Year in 2021. So if there's anybody that knows the small-sided game, it is him. A fine club career as the shot just narrowly misses and rattles off the cage from Gutierrez. Jimmy Nordberg growing up in the Inland Empire, Southern California. He can call U.S. men's national Carlos Bocanegra as one of his best friends, as well as Nick Raimondo, a name familiar to many of you in the United States. As Kyle Atkins is going to issue a yellow card to Villarreal's bench. Now, I don't know if that was because they had substitutes that weren't in the substitution box that came out. And speaking of which, that is one of the changes in the rules. You're not allowed to have more than 3 players in the substitution area at any time. Only the captain can address the referee in times of controversy. And there's no freezing the ball. It's got to get advanced every 8 seconds. Taken back by Gonzalez. Cardenas. And that comes off of Charlie's foot. Villarreal ball. Less than 5 minutes to go here in this first half. As we see number 17, Steven Chavez. Number 13. Didn't see him yesterday, but number 13 on Bumpy pitch, Jonathan Bornstein. Played in the MLS where he was a Rookie of the Year with Chivas USA. 123 games with the Chicago Fire. Played in Mexico as well with Tigres, Atlanta, Querétaro. But many will remember him from his time with the United States men's national team, in particular a goal that he scored back in '09 against Costa Rica. Bornstein, right around the age of 40 or so. Not sure if he's going to be happy that I mentioned that on the air, but looking spry and looking like he can get back to MLS if he wanted to. I'm sure he would say otherwise, but it's still great to see him here. As we mentioned him, his header past the midfield. Año, he gets pulled down by Gonzalez. And Gonzalez is going to get the yellow card. Kyle Atkins flashes it over, and Charlie knew it right away. Charlie, an MASL All-Star, multiple-time champion with the San Diego Sockers. Was a part of Newtown Pride as well. Newtown Pride, who won the inaugural TST tournament back in 2023. Andy Reyes slicing it through. Momo Guy back heels it to Martin Lara. Lara still with it. He fires it off of number 44 Año, and that's going to be a corner for Bumpy pitch. O'Keefe comes back in. Bumpy pitch with some substitutions of their own. Jose Gonzalez, nicknamed Bebe, over to Andy Reyes. Reyes has been traveling quite a bit as of late. Just came back from Baku, Azerbaijan recently. So he was a member of the United States' World Mini Football team. They just had their World Cup in Baku. Romania was trying to defend their title, although they got knocked out in the group stages. I believe it was Azerbaijan that won. Either Azerbaijan or Kazakhstan. I'd have to double check that. Names that you haven't heard in the traditional World Cup, but names that are successful in the world mini football scene. A space you absolutely have to check out. Reyes. The attempt, that one just misses ever so slightly to the right as it was fired by number 99, Ernesto Espinosa. Espinosa was with the United States youth national team during the 2018-2019 season. Played for Club Tijuana, Xolos in Liga MX. I think the last set of stats I got for him, he was out in Tennessee playing with the Chattanooga Red Wolves. About 60 seconds remaining here in this first half as Chisco Nadal connects with Romero, Oscar Romero, back over to Musacchio. Over to Asenjo. Alan Perez making the keeper's job hard. Steven Chavez. Chavez had a fine year within the MASL. He gets dispossessed. That ball gets put into the box, and that was a close call. Momo Guy was looking to clear it and connect with Gutierrez, but nearly committed a mistake that he would have paid for. Less than 30 seconds remaining. Can Bumpy pitch claw one back before both teams go into halftime? Cerda. Talata. The nice thing about being on field 5 is at least the big clock works. We had issues with it on field 4. Cerda. Poked away. Potential final attempt. Gomez. Official Kyle Atkins blows the whistle, and we head into halftime with the score. Villarreal 1, Bumpy pitch 0. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hydrate ourselves because that sun is batting down. When we come back, we'll let you know how many shots and how many shots on target there were. And when we come back, 20 more minutes of a running clock before we head in to target score time. Back in a moment. You are watching the TST on YouTube. of state, I was paying 20, but I also graduated in '05. All right, folks, welcome back to the start of the second half here on Field 5 in beautiful, warm, but humid Cary, North Carolina, here at the Wake Med Soccer Park, the home of the NWSL's NC Courage, which has been the home of the TST tournament for now season 3. And the city of Cary itself has been such a gracious host. This is a partnership that has worked for all parties. They would like this to be the home of the TST for years to come. And this being my first experience as Charlie Gonzalez's shot is off the mark, I have to say everything here has been fantastic. The staff, the support, got great public address announcers, great timekeepers, great statisticians. It's just been a joy working at this tournament. So, despite the fact that Villarreal has a 1-goal lead, they've only had one shot. But when you've got one goal and one shot, not sure if you're a mathematician, but that's about 100%. Whereas with Bumpy pitch, they fired it 12 times, but have yet to find the net. And it's not so much because Villarreal's keeper, Sergio Asenjo, has been having a dynamite game, just that they've been a little bit off of the mark, a little snake-bitten with that Star Wars Stormtrooper precision. Close, but nothing just yet. But they're going to look to change that, as this is the knockout round. Do or die. Survive and thrive is the motto for every team from here on out. The group stages are done. Cerda. Back over to Espinosa. Into the box. Ball is loose. Comes back out of the box and past that touchline. It's going to stay Bumpy pitch ball. Gutierrez. Into Andy Reyes. Andy Reyes not happy with that call either. And so we've got changes coming on for both sides. Getting muggy here in Cary, which is the 7th most populous municipality in the great state of North Carolina. First in flight. 145th most populous in the United States. And as recently as 2023, census indicated that the town had a population of just over 180,000. I know the longtime residents of Cary would like to keep it that way because a lot of people from the Northeast have called Cary home. And so I know a good buddy of mine, in fact, lives in Cary, or moved to Cary from New York City, and he was telling me his neighbor stated that recently Cary was just an acronym for a containment area for relocated Yankees. Shot and a header! Once again, number 9, Cristian Martinez Borja with the equalizer. Bumpy pitch is now on the scoreboard. Take about Borja because he is making a name for himself in this tournament, one of the top scorers throughout TST. Put that name in your memory bank or in your Rolodex. Don't even know if they still make those. But Cristian Martinez Borja, your goal scorer for Bumpy pitch.
Bumpy pitch goal scored by Cristian Martinez Borja.
So a keeper change for... No, actually I was under the impression that there would be a keeper change. That's the problem when you make assumptions. Brandon Gomez still in the net, and I know I've called Bumpy pitch a couple of times. I was thinking that there would be a keeper change, but there wasn't. So shame on me for assuming anything. Bad broadcaster, Philly. Cardenas receives it back. He's got Munir Alami wide open on the opposite end of the field. And if you're wondering what that distance is, the field, folks, 45 yards within width, 65 yards within length. The goal itself, 6.5 feet tall, 18.5 feet wide. A much smaller target for those that come from the outdoor world. They're utilizing a size 5 miter ball. Miter, the official ball supplier of the soccer tournament. So we see Munir Alami getting a touch. Bornstein. So much fun seeing Jonathan Bornstein out here. A couple of former U.S. men's internationals. You got Breck Shea, for example, over on Concaifa. Concaifa, one of the 5 teams that have come out of the group stages undefeated. They join teams like La Bombonera. Alami off of Agno. Inside of the box, Cardenas with a shot, saved! Cardenas gets his own rebound. So, bumpy pitch, momentum flying their way, but Villarreal's just really been sitting back and absorbing a lot of this attack. As we said, coming out of the, I was going to say the locker room, there are no locker rooms, coming off of the Pine Ponies, they only had 1 shot fired, but it was an effective one. 1 goal. Going back to my previous thought before Cardenas' shot, only 5 teams had come out of the group stages. There were 12 groups of 4, only 5 remained undefeated. La Bombonera, the defending champs, Newtown Pride, Concaifa, Pasha Luxury, and a team you need to pay attention to. They could be a dark horse in this tournament as Golden Gutierrez's goal nearly takes out a fan. She's lucky that she just turned her head for a split second there because that was a concussion ball heading right towards her dome piece. The header from Gutierrez back over to Gomez. Now, the team that I want you to focus on, they are the dark horse, and it's not a team called dark horse because I know there is one. I called their games, but Pumas de Alabama, that's a team you got to pay attention to. They're playing AFC Bournemouth later on today. Pumas de Alabama consists of a lot of players that have competed together for years in cash prize tournaments, going all over the country, competing in tournaments, picking up 10 grand here, 25 grand there, 30 here. But in Cary, North Carolina, they're going for the fat check, folks. 7 figures, $1 million. As Dr. Evil and Austin Powers would say, $1 million. And that's on the line. And if that doesn't fire you up, I don't know what kind of a human being you are. Whether you've got a lot or you got a little, if somebody's going to offer you $1 million, the last thing you're going to say is no. But it still is a long and arduous road for both teams, and a lot of the ones that are still here is Musacchio trying to get past midfield. But Leroy Nzegusi says otherwise. Nzegusi coming out of the Sporting Kansas City Academy. Back in 2016, he was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Iowa. Went to Drake University, played with the Des Moines Menace in the USL. Des Moines Menace getting some headlines as of late. Bradley Wright Phillips, Sasha Kleshtin playing for them. Moron looking for his second goal of the game. Whiffed it just slightly as Brandon Gomez makes the save. Brandon Hugo Gomez played last year with Saturday's football at the TST. Went to Vanguard University. Was in Nisa. I think Nisa's the 4th tier. 3rd or 4th, but either way, the LA Force before playing with the Empire Strikers. Now, if you're asking where the Empire is, it's not in a galaxy far, far away. The Empire is a term given to the Inland Empire, and that's a region in Southern California. It's about 30 or so miles from the downtown Los Angeles area as a whistle is called on the pitch. Edgar Castillo Carrillo hits the deck. Cerda showed a gesture to Colin O'Keefe momentarily that has a bad word to it that I'm not allowed to say on the air. But we can understand nonverbal communication here, at least if you have eyesight, the 20/20 kind. I haven't seen much of Charlie Gonzalez since he got the yellow card towards the end of the first half. So 16 shots from Bumpy pitch, 2 for Villarreal, and we're still 1-1. So the game of soccer, folks, can be cruel in the sense that you can hang on to possession for a long time. You can have all the shots in the world, all the shots on target you want, but it's the score that counts. Nobody gives a hoot in this tournament if you lose pretty. If you lose, you simply lose. Anybody would rather win ugly. And winning ugly is the best kind of winning because it's still winning. Pressure from Larten on Asenjo. We're halfway through the second half, which means I should probably start explaining the other acronym of TST. It not only means the soccer tournament, it means target score time. So you take the tally, well, in this case, it's 1-1. So if this score remains, we add a +1. That is the target score, meaning that in target score time, as Andy Reyes gets called for a foul on Oscar Romero, meaning that if the target score is 2 in this case, next goal wins, basically. But hypothetically, if either team went up 2-1 in target score time, then you add +1 to the winner's tally, and then it's 3. Unlimited time within the target score time. The teams will start 7v7. And after 3 minutes, if no result comes on, we go to 6v6. If no result comes on after 3, we go to 5v5. If no result comes on after 3, we go to, well, you guessed it, the header saved by Gomez. Gomez had the heads up. I don't want to say that was telegraphed, but Año's shot, his header, I should say, went right to Gomez's mittens. Romero right in the midfield. Reyes coming up to him. Pass back over to Musacchio. The Argentinian weighing his options. So under 10 to go. A close game, but 16 shots moments ago for, I don't know if we're 17. I kind of lost track of that, but it was 16-2. 16-2. 16-3 now. Shout out to our production staff. As I mentioned, we've got some incredible crews here in Cary, North Carolina. And the way I'm saying it, I must have just listened to Petey Pablo recently. And it's hot enough for me to want to take my shirt off and wave it around my head just like a helicopter. And I was told not to do that. And when you're built like me, a former marathoner, now looking like a professional bowler, it'd probably be a good thing not to do that. Charlie, Talata, back over to Charlie. Charlie scored some bangers throughout the course of his professional career, and as has that man, Gutierrez, and that man too, Cerda. Cerda yesterday asked me to shout out his wife and his family, so I'll do it again. Shout out to the Cerda family. Alami shot! That ricochets off of a yellow brick wall, and they call that yellow brick wall Cesar Murillo. Murillo played collegiately at the College of Charleston, part of the FC Dallas Academy in North Texas SC. North Texas SC, part of MLS Next Pro. And he also competed for a team that anytime I see their name, I smile. Forward Madison. Why do I smile? They've got some of the freshest kits I've seen. No question about that foul. Tugging on the jersey. Kyle Atkins says no, no, no to number 4, Tomas Pina, whose name I should have mentioned a little more as he's played 84 times during his career at Villarreal between 2013 and 2016. The place, though, that I'm very envious that he played for was Mallorca. Gutierrez looked to tee one off, and that one goes right to Asenjo. I was screened. Not sure if that went right to his breadbasket or not. We'll just say it did for the sake of argument. Over to Moron, the lone goal scorer for Villarreal. Chavez. That 50-50 ball is won by him. Over to Marone. O'Keefe open in the box. And that's going to come out on the touchline. And so that's going to bring in Villarreal's ball. Villarreal, this version, TST version of Villarreal, a lot of players from the Dallas, Texas area. And Zaguzzi was offering some pressure up there. Gonzalez. Granell, we haven't seen too much of him either. Wonder if Villarreal is just waiting for this game to mature a little bit and throw out their big guns. Bumpy pitches had their big guns on the field the entire time. Alami, the Moroccan international, up top to Cesar Cerda. Will Cerda scissor through? He will not. Over to Charlie, back over to Cerda. Under that 5-minute mark, folks, before we go into the TST. We want to see some dynamite goals, folks. Shout out Bon Scott, rest in peace. First and late singer of AC/DC. Bet you didn't think you'd get some 80s rock and roll references on the air. Well, you get all kinds of stuff with me. I aim for 3 things: informing, educating, more importantly, entertaining. Back over to Cerda. Cerda to Alami, who's looking for that one-timer. Poked through. On the break goes Villarreal. Morón with O'Keefe. Tracking back is the Bumpy boys. The shot just misses bottom left. Oye madre, soy amigo. Villarreal came oh so close. And while both teams reset, gives me a moment to reset my vocal cords there. Because as it sounds, you call 16 games over the course of a couple of days, you too might sound like you've chain smoked for the vast majority of your life. Not to say that I do, not to say that I have, not anything that I like. Not my vice. Number 5, Jesus Molina. Funny story. Jesus Molina was also the name of the assistant coach of the Empire Strikers that worked for Jimmy Nordberg for a number of years. Goes by the nickname Chuy. Really thought it was Chuy Molina. But Chuy Molina playing with Marco Fabian over at Boca Dallas. Boca Dallas, one of the favorites. A lot of great teams. A lot of great games to be had over the course of day 3 here. You're going to be treated to 134 games by the time this tournament ends. And if you've been around with us for a while, I want to say thank you so much. I wouldn't have anything better to do, and this is exactly what I'd be doing too if I wasn't here. The shot fired! Alan Perez looking to have back-to-back days of golazos, but his shot gets saved. Ernesto Espinosa back over to Mitchell Cardenas. Cardenas to Cerda. I can't even remember a time where Villarreal has held onto the ball for longer than 60 or so seconds, because it has been all bumpy pitch, but none of that matters. Threaded through. Ball is loose. The mess is cleaned up, but the messers, bumpy pitch, still have it. Can they get one more? That would give them a somewhat of a break heading into target score time. Because if this result holds, its next goal wins for either party. The shot attempt. Oh, and that nearly deflects off of, I think that was Murillo. Luckily for him, it deflected the exact opposite way that would have potentially landed in an own goal. And it did not. Clearly it didn't. Y'all are smart viewers back home. And astute and observant. Lara. Molina. Back over to Lara. Oh, I hope this game is exciting you as much as it's exciting me. Lara with the touch. Trying to cut through. He fires it. Saved. And Asenjo going to dive for it as if his life depended on it. Because it does depend on it. So, 2-minute warning. And hopefully I don't get fined by the NFL, because I don't know if they copyright and trademark that saying. And I guess if they did, I'll be hearing about this really soon. Cerda. Backwards to Gomez. So this will allow bumpy pitch to reset, reassess, and readdress. As Romero was given some token pressure to Cerda. He tracks back. On in the pitch returns. Number 10, Charlie Gonzalez. Gonzalez known for his playmaking abilities, but also his ability to curl one through, and it wasn't there. Loose, poked away. Moises Hernandez. Moises Hernandez who played with FC Dallas, as well as professionally in Costa Rica. For those who follow the CONCACAF Champions Cup, Deportivo Saprissa, a name that you'd be familiar with. Also competes with, or it had, I should say, with Guatemalan Giants Comunicaciones, also another team that has consistently competed in the CONCACAF Champions League. Also a member of the Guatemalan national team, US U20. And as Gutierrez's shot goes into a crowd over on field 3. So less than 30 remaining. By 30 we mean seconds. Can Villarreal find an answer really quickly and break up this tie? Bebe Gonzalez, his hands all over Steven Chavez, to the point where one of them might ask the other for dinner later. Down goes Yahir Romero. Yahir Romero, the brother of Oscar Romero. Both players competing in the MASL. So Kyle Atkins blows his whistle, which signifies the fact that regulation is over. The game score is 1-1. Your goal scorers for Villarreal, number 19, Adrian Moron. For the Bumpy Pitch Boys, number 9, Christian Martinez Borja. So when we come back, we'll once again go over those target score time rules, and we'll see what happens. Next goal wins. Back in a moment.
Every 3 minutes, a great battle going on here in the knockout round of 32 on field 5, Villarreal. Bumpy Pitch FC, 1 apiece. Target score of 2. That means next goal wins.
Copy.
Score of 2, meaning next goal wins. Fans, you won't want to miss the action right here on field 5.
In 1986, a band out of Sweden called Europe created a song called The Final Countdown. It became a hit. You could probably find it on YouTube with millions of hits. The Final Countdown is exactly where we are here. Target score time on field 5 at the TST. Next goal wins for either side. A reminder, and yes, we are in the Department of Redundancies department. Target score time, 7v7. In this case, the target score is 2. Next goal wins. We'll go 7v7 for 3 minutes. Player comes off if no result holds. And then rinse and repeat. The individual that scores the game winner will be presented a golden fleece brought to us by Adidas. And that golden fleece, which actually is a scarf, permits the recipient of the golden fleece for a lifetime admission in TST as well as the TBT, which is the basketball tournament. The basketball tournament was the OG, the granddaddy of it all. The success there is what led to the creation of this incredible tournament. And this tournament has expanded, no question about it. Over 1,000 teams have applied to get in since it started. And the field has expanded. No foul on the pitch. Villarreal's Moron is, well, he probably would want to say something to Kyle Atkins that is not family friendly. But we went from 32 teams to 48, 12 groups of 4, but we're down at 32. So it's like we're back to the start of last year's TST. And, of course, that's going to dwindle after today because if you don't survive and thrive, you lose and die today, figuratively but not literally. Villarreal has had the lion's share of shots and possession throughout this game. Can they capitalize on it? Or will Villarreal sit back, absorb, and beat them on the counter? That could potentially be what happens. Gonzalez into Gutierrez. Bumpy pitch looking to spread Villarreal around. Being cool, calm, calculating. And speaking of cool, Mother Nature gave us a reprieve here as finally some clouds are covering the sun. What I've learned in my short time here, these 3 days in Cary, North Carolina, is if you don't like the weather, wait about 5 minutes. O'Keefe pressuring over to Lara. Gonzalez. Gonzalez, very tough player to dispossess. Very calm. Has ice water in his veins. And if somebody can tell me who originated that statement, I'd appreciate it. 'Cause that's a fun one. Ice water. Ice water is something we all could use right now here on this pitch. Cerda to Gutierrez. Gutierrez back over to Cerda. Cerda over to Gonzalez. Will Villarreal take the bait and bite? Now the keeper can also be used as an attacker in this case. As Gonzalez goes over to Brandon Gomez, we have seen a few keepers throughout this tournament score goals. And so what I've typically seen and what we've typically seen is once we get down to a 5v5 scenario, sometimes teams go for the option of pulling the keeper to throw an extra attacker on. That is perfectly legal. Gonzalez. Cerda! And that goes off of Moises Hernandez. Okay, so that's going to mean Kyle Atkins is going to motion to the bench. Now we've got 6v6. A lot of commotion going down on the pitch right now.
We're going 6v6.
6v6 now. We're getting into that nail-biting time, folks. And if you've chomped through your nails, head on over to your cuticles. And if you've gone through those, well, that's just disgusting. Shout out to our public address announcer who's dishing out the word that we've got ourselves an entertaining one here. And to steal a line from Russell Crowe's Gladiator, are you not entertained? Just a reminder, next goal wins. Target score is 2. Why? Because both teams are tied at 1. Borja, the goal scorer for Bumpy Pitch. Moron, the goal scorer for Villarreal. There is one player on this pitch right now that's going to walk into a telephone booth, put on a cape, and walk out as Superman, and they're going to get a golden fleece. Forget the cape. It's a fleece. Gonzalez to Cerda. Over to Lara. Slight pressure from O'Keefe. Cerda back over to Lara. The Villarreal players are besides themselves, looking over at Musacchio, and he's just yelling at his teammates to do something. Go and attack. That's sort of the difference between teams that have the experience versus teams that don't have the experience. But Villarreal knows what's going on, as does Bumpy Pitch. Bumpy Pitch, a lot of these players competed with a team in the TST last season called Tranquilo. Tranquilo did not make it out of the group stages. Bumpy Pitch did. Bumpy Pitch looking to beat Villarreal. Now we're starting to see some pressure. Robin Walsh. Over to Cerda. Will it be Borja? Will it be Gonzalez? Or will it be O'Keefe on the other side? In, the shot, the goal, the game winner. Que golazo, it is over. Bumpy Pitch with the game winner, as he has done time and time and time and time again throughout the TST. Cristian Martinez Borja with the game winner, and now a Golden Fleece. Golden Fleece brought to you by Adidas. Borja's going to be welcome to the TST for the rest of his life. I've lost my voice. Hopefully y'all have jumped out of your chair, because I got enough caffeine in me to make coffee nervous. But what a game. What a game, folks. And if you had fun with that one, well, we got plenty more to come. Your final score here on Field 5. Villarreal versus Bumpy Pitch. Bumpy Pitch walks out victorious, and they move on. And if you give me 1 second, I'll tell you exactly who they're going to face off against. They will square off against the winner of Quick Goal FC and Plymouth Argyle. There you just saw an image of what the Golden Fleece looks like, and yes, we know it's a scarf, but it sounds so much cooler when it's called a Golden Fleece. But anyway, what needs to be cool is me. So folks, I gotta run. My name's Christian Filliman, better known as Philly. I'll see you at 1:15. Have a good one.
As the Bumpy Pitch women's squad will be taking on Boca Dallas. Kickoff is set for 11:15 a.m. We'll see you then right here on Field 5.
Am I good? I'm done?